Dun da da dun, da 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 dun, dun da da dun, dun da da dun, dun da 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 dun, dun, dun. Superman. Isn't that the Superman song? I think that's the Superman song. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Untangled. We are on episode 95. I feel like $1,000,000 today. Um, welcome. So happy to be here. So happy to be here. I'm happy to be here every week. I absolutely love our Untangled series. And please say hello in the chat box if you are here. Hello, hello, hello. Where are you from? I am so excited about this episode. One, because I just feel so good today. Um, I feel aligned. I feel ready to share and talk and express and be the human and the soul and all of it. Um, Hi, Shan. Hi, Steve. Hi, Channeling Divine Love. Hi, Vertical Creative. Hi, Rachel, Patricia, Christine, Jennifer, Sarah, Amy. All of you, hello. If you are brand new, you have no idea what this is all about, but you just kind of have found yourself here on this channel watching this random person named Lori speaking about something called Untangled. This is a series on YouTube where I talk about things that are uncomfortable that we are navigating in the evolution in human consciousness, how we are becoming new over and over and over again, what that means, how we are letting go of all these old ways of being while we simultaneously are allowing it all to be. That there is this innate knowingness within us that we came here to be a part of something so much bigger than what we remember, that we are in this evolutionary shift, that we are in this quite miraculous moment of awakening, of stepping into who we have always been. And we are not just reading it in books, we are not just studying it from teachers that have supposedly done it. We are actually doing it and being it every day. Every single one of us is being gifted the opportunity to become who we have always been, which is this essence of God or soul or spirit within the physical body, within you right now. And it plays out in these most miraculous ways, which is illness, which is heartbreak, which is losing a job, which is not having your financial situation stable, which is finding the love of your life, finding soul family, having abundance, feeling completely unmotivated, having this moment of pause in your life, realizing that you're here to do something or be something, but you don't exactly know what it is, no longer resonating with the world, having all kinds of physical sensations that you've never had before, following your intuition and resonance in ways that you never have before, becoming so energetic that you are feeling in ways that you never have before. All right. I mean, the list goes on and on and on in terms of how we are all uniquely and collectively experiencing this shift. And I don't think there is anything more important to be discussing than how we are uniquely, individually, and collectively navigating the most miraculous moment, which is the shift in consciousness, which is the integration and embodiment of soul as human as soul. It's like we are currently in the phase where the butterfly, the caterpillar is becoming the butterfly, and we're getting so caught up in all of the other nonsense of like, well, what's happening out there in the world, and what are we, is the cocoon the right color, is it the right size, is it, we get so caught up in the details of everything that's happening, and all the good and all the bad and all the right and all the wrong, and meanwhile we're not able to actually be in awe of what we're in, taking a moment and a breath to be in awe of this massive, unbelievable transformation, which is simply just becoming the you that you have always been. I mean, I just had a session this morning with this most incredible man. And I'm like, you realize that we are literally talking about becoming soul, being soul, the essence of you that dropped in to the physical body. I mean, just set aside all the circus show that's happening on the planet right now, and all the corruption and everything that's happening out there. even what's happening in your own world, right? And just pause for a moment and think about this. The profound what the WTF of what's happening right now on this planet. No matter what you're experiencing, no matter what you're going through, no matter what feels good or doesn't feel good, this is what's happening. The essence of you, the essence of who you have always been. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's what came into the physical form. It's what chose to be in this physical form that you find yourself in. It's an essence and an awareness that is outside of the character you play every single day as the name you hold. And that it's always been designed to be a part of this human experience, to play a role, to guide the you that you think you are, so that you can recognize that there is this most miraculous, heaven like experience on the planet that is truly, simply energetic, um, pretending to be the illusion of the physical world. And that the illusion of who you have always been is break. Thank you, Martin, my number one fan on YouTube or in the world of everything. You are just such a support. I love you. Thank you. But it's just we say this every week. We talk about this every week. Why is it the same thing? Because we are in such a deep, deep, heavy state of illusion that we forget over and over and over again what is happening here. Right. And so this series, I'm committed to doing this series so that we can remember, nauseatingly remember what is happening on the planet, that every experience you are experiencing is bringing you into the butterfly. It's bringing you into soul. It's reuniting you, reconnecting you, introducing you, the one you have always thought yourself to be, to soul. So I could ask each and every one of you, um, what is it that you're going through right now? What are you fighting against? What do you not like? What do you wish wasn't here? What are you struggling with? We all have something that we could write down. We all have something that we could talk about, right? Um, it's here with all of us. And what is so beautiful about pointing that out or examining that, looking at that, is that whatever it is that we're going through, that we're navigating, is the gift that life or soul or God is showing us, that is bringing us deeper into soul over and over and over again. And so a lot of you will say, "Oh, I'm in this place of pause." Right? I'm in this place of no motivation, no desire. Life just seems kind of blah. There's a lot of you guys that are in that space. Thank you, Mia, here for now, for that super chat. Um, that kind of like, nothing's aligning, nothing's feeling good. I don't know where I'm going. Um, so here's what I want you to recognize. Maybe you're in a lot of physical pain and there's a deep, deep resistance to it, and you're sick and tired of it. Um, uh, Maybe there's just a deep numbing out where you're like, I just don't want to be a part of the world. Or maybe you're breaking out into the world more and more. You're starting to trust it more. You're starting to feel more. You're starting to trust your own intuitiveness and resonance. You're starting to realize, holy shit, this really is a gift, right? Wherever you are, I want you to recognize something that you are being faced with, confronted with the most likely a counterintuitiveness, right? And it's an interesting word to use, or double two words to use, but it's the way the soul calls you in, invites you in, asks you to come in and step into its world is counterintuitive to how you have done life. It's the opposite. So, what you are familiar with and what you are comfortable with, soul is not that. What you try to control and create and manifest is not soul. What you try to get rid of or get out of is not soul. So what's happening right now is soul is calling you into letting go of control. Soul is calling you into be in what is, allow what is, trust what is. Soul is calling you into that space or that place where you know nothing, where you can drop into the abyss, to the black void of nothingness, because the part of you that has so beautifully run your life, that has created your life, kept you safe, designed the life you have, okay, that there is a need for that part of us to become loud and obnoxious so that we can hear and drop into the subtle quietness of soul. So it's going to feel very different. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel um, new. It's going to feel. And what I would pay attention to is the resistance. What are you still frustrated about because you're still in it? There was an interesting thing that came up today in the session that I did this morning, and it was when something lingers around you. So let's say that you feel a lot of loneliness, okay, and it's just there. It's not going anywhere. It's taunting you or haunting you. Let's call it maybe lack. It's just haunting you or taunting you, meaning it's just around all the time. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. All right. Our natural state is to allow everything to be felt through us. It just moves. So it arises like a tidal wave. The wave flushes through us and then it's gone and something else arises. This includes the feeling of lack, which is a belief, the feeling of loneliness, which is a belief, meaning that when you feel this wave come over you of lack, it's connected to thought, right? And when this wave comes over you, it takes over. You have to give everything to that moment of the experience. And what happens is that when that wave comes over us, we believe that wave to be the absolute truth. So we believe that we are going to be lonely forever. We believe that we are never going to have enough money. We believe that we are completely unworthy and insecure and will never be able to do it. We believe it so deeply. And there is something profound and powerful about recognizing that intensity of belief in that moment. But what happens is you have to start to become aware that you are in the wave of that emotion, of that energy. You're in the wave of it. Oh, here it comes. Every energy, which we will call an emotion, has the same pattern. It comes in like a wave, it flushes over you, and it's so intense, it literally takes over. Yes, that is energy. And then it flushes out and it is gone. When something stays in your field, it's around, it's not going anywhere. It's because you believe the belief around it. You believe it. You believe it to be true. You believe that loneliness is going to be here. You believe that you are always going to be in lack, or that lack is absolutely the truth. You believe that you are stuck. You believe that you are completely unworthy. And not only do you believe it, but you're resisting it to such a degree that it anchors into here. You believe it to be so, and then you resist it. You're so upset that it's here. And so here's where the counterintuitiveness comes in. When you remember how soul experiences everything, it opens itself up to everything. So when lack comes in and you feel it super intensely, fuck, I'm never going to make money. I'm going to be in lack. I'm going to this, right? And you feel it in its intensity, which means that you give everything over to it only in that moment that it's passing. And you are aware that you are feeling that. You are aware that it's coming in. You are aware that it has taken over, because that's what energy does. It comes in and takes over. We're humble to it. If you're aware of it, just a tiny bit of awareness, then you realize it's not you. You realize it's not you. You realize it's not true. But you still have to allow it to be experienced and moved through. So you have to be in all of it. But if there is all you need is a tiny bit of awareness that you are in an energy called lack. You're in an energy called loneliness. You can see it. Then it dissolves when it's time to dissolve, which typically is not very long. It doesn't hang out. The reason it hangs out is because you believe it to be true. And you believe, thank you, Mary Jo Taylor, for that super chat. Are you the Mary Jo that's going on our retreat? You believe it to be so. You just believe it. And then, because you believe it so deeply, you think you have to fix it. You think you're in charge of getting rid of loneliness. You think you're in charge of getting rid of the insecurity, the doubt, the lack. You are the one going, yay! You're going to Kenya. We going to Kenya. Do, 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 do. Okay, sorry, complete sidetrack. I don't even know what that. I think that song was do 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 do. It's got to be like a cartoon or something. Anywho, when we realize that we are not what we are feeling, when there's a tiny, slight, small bit of awareness that we are not what we are feeling, but that feeling gets to be felt in its entirety, then you don't fix it. You don't do anything with it. You truly do not do anything with it. And when we start to, this to me is the hardest practice to teach, is the feeling state, how to simply feel. So pay attention, all of this to say, pay attention to what is, I would call it what you are unconsciously attached to, that shouldn't be here, isn't allowed to be here, that you need to get rid of. Anything that you feel you need to get rid of, just bring awareness to it. Don't do anything other than simply bring awareness to what you are not wanting to be here. You don't have to accept, you don't have to let go, you don't have to allow. All of that is you trying to figure it out. Just be aware that you don't like it. Be aware that you don't want it here. Be aware that you want to change it. Thank you, Steve, for that super chat. Just be aware. The awareness alone is what shifts it, relaxes you into it, and it moves. Every single emotion you feel is not designed to stay. It's not designed to last. It's designed to move over and over. And so what you are so courageously doing right now is you are tapping into the natural state of soul. Ooh, I want to share something with you guys. Um, so if you don't like how you can't get things done, just be aware. The simple awareness is I don't like when I can't get things done. I'm aware that I don't like that. That awareness is now going to allow you to just let that be. And not getting things done is just going to be not getting things done. And the next thing you know, you're going to be living in more of a relaxed flow state, whether you get things done or not. Okay, I want to ask you guys something. So, have you ever had a moment in your life? So, this is how you start to bring in the state, the feeling state of soul. Okay. So, have you ever had a moment in your life where you just felt aligned? You felt connected to something bigger than you, whether it was you walking in nature, whether it was jumping out of an airplane, whether it was you writing a song, whether it was you on stage singing or dancing, whether it was a conversation that you had where something was flowing through you, whether it was, yeah, like an interaction that you had. Maybe it was a moment when you were swimming or running. But have you ever had that moment where you felt connected? You felt aligned. You felt like something else was moving through you. Okay. I want you to try to tap into that state, that feeling state. Okay. And maybe right now, all you can do is just like remember it. For some of you, you may feel it all the time right now. Right. But tap it, connect into it. What did it feel like? What did that feel like? Um, can you remember it? And here's what I want you to realize about that incredible moment or moments was when you, the part of you that does life, that takes action, that's kind of the human, was connected to soul right here or right here, wherever it is felt for you in the body. That was a beautiful, gifted moment of soul being experienced or felt as human. And that is your natural state. And so, what we are doing right now, what we are being in, what we are remembering, believe it or not, is the integration or embodiment of that feeling state over and over again in each moment of the human experience. So nothing needs to change in order for that felt sense to be here in each moment. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have a partner. You don't have to be healthy. You don't have to be drinking green juices and high vibing yourself into a positive state. Your natural state, thank you, channeling divine love for that. Your natural state is that moment. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be healed. You don't have to be, uh, uh, you know, nothing. You don't have to be or do anything to have that natural state, which is you, which is soul. And so, what's happening right now for you and I, and truly for the entire human collective, but it is a very slow, tedious process right now, is the embodiment of that moment over and over and over again. And when you start to recognize that that's actually what's happening in the human collective, and you start to look out and see how distracted humanity is by all of the stories, how quickly we are pulled out of body, how quickly we are pulled into narratives, how quickly we are pulled into feeling states that somebody else wants us to feel. The more we can recognize that, the more we can recognize how we are being pulled out of our natural state. That there is a soul essence of whatever you want to call it. I love calling it soul. You get to call it whatever you want. It's in you right now as you. It's screaming for you to recognize it through the remembrances of those moments where you felt aligned, where you felt in flow, that is your natural state. That is not oh, I hope I can get there again. Oh, only when I run do I feel that. No, 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 no. It is the evolution in human consciousness. It is the soul allowing for everything. It's the safest moment you will ever feel in life. If you remember back to that moment, I guarantee you in those moments where you were in that state, you felt safe, really safe. You weren't afraid. You weren't trying to control anything. You weren't trying to fix anything. I guarantee you that you were realizing that there was something bigger happening in you, for you, as you. Thank you, Lisa, so much for your super chat. That this evolution in human consciousness is not something you can think. It's not something that you control. It's not a vibration that you bring yourself to. It is happening in every single moment as you, through a feeling state that you have to bring your awareness into, that's available now over and over again. And one of the ways that you can do that is, can you remember that feeling state when you were aligned and connected? That moment of awe, that moment of wow. Have you ever had that moment and spoken to somebody else, had a conversation with someone else where they felt it too, where they paused for a moment, where you realize that right here, right now, I'm having an interaction with somebody and they are also recognizing that there is something bigger happening. That's soul, activating soul. That where you can see beyond the human interaction and engagement, that there is something bigger happening. A lot of times they will pause for a moment, like just something happens. This is the greater awareness that, in my eyes, is what needs to be looked at right now. Not all the hoopla, not the circus show that's happening out there. That is all a distraction from us actually shifting an entire human collective. The planetary evolution, the shift in human consciousness, this planetary shift happens through soul activation. The awareness that we are soul in body, not some foo-foo, love and light, rainbow, high vibe place, but the humble, grounded, human, real, authentic expression of life, of human life, of being human, of all the experience, of all the up and down, of all the ins and outs, of all the likes and dislikes, through the awareness of soul. And so your practice is, when did I feel that aligned state? Because that is soul. That was when soul popped open for you in that moment. And can you bring those moments into your awareness more and more as you are navigating this chaotic life? Life is chaotic. Life is dark and light. It is nefarious beings and beautiful, peaceful beings. It is the suffocation and the open oxygen. It's all of it. You cannot this evolution in consciousness, this embodiment of soul is not negating, pushing away, or pretending that something isn't there or that it doesn't exist. Soul opens the front door to life and says, "Bring it on. I'm here to be in all of this." And so the the awareness of those moments in your life, if you can pull that in, so the way you bring it back, Matthias, is not to is it you want to recognize that it's always right here. That moment you had when you were singing or when you were on stage or when you were running or when you were like walking or backpacking or hiking up a mountain and you got to the top of the mountain, right? I've had these experiences in my life where I would hike these mountains and get to the top of them, and it was just this moment where I was completely connected. Okay? These moments feel very far and few between for us in the past, but they will become everyday, integrated, embodied moments of soul in life for most of us as we keep doing this. And it's not a blissful like, "Ah." It's just if you can remember that moment, it felt like you were connected to everything. It felt like something bigger was happening. It felt like you were whatever it felt like to you. That is what you want to call up throughout your day. Can you bring yourself into that memory, but can you feel it? Is there a felt sense of it? Because that's soul. That's you. It's not something that you brought in, you didn't channel it. It's not from some higher dimensional being, it's not from some galactic planet, it's not from some God source, it's you in the body. It's a grounded, integrated embodiment of soul. It's here every moment. It's here in your physical pain, it's here in your heartbreak. It's here in your lack, it's here in your struggle, it's here in the resistance, it's here in the fear. It's here in the joy and in the freedom and in the love and in the falling in love and in the excitement about what you have coming. It's in all of it. And so what is starting to happen for many of us is the integration or embodiment of soul, which is that you are starting to feel that there is so much more happening in each moment than what the egoic personality or persona has perceived it to be. That there is a something bigger working through you. That there is a trust in life that you don't know how you have, but you have. There is relaxing into life that you are being pummeled into that you don't know how to get into. It's just starting to happen. Um, there is a letting go into what is in ways that you've never done before, and you don't know how to. You don't know how to be soul because the part of you that's trying to learn how to be soul is not soul and it can't get there. Soul's just arising over and over again. Soul's becoming the one holding the microphone more and more. And so all of these things that we've been practicing throughout the years is the soul sending you signs or flags of, yo, I'm right here. So the knowingness that everything is allowed, right? The flow state, the no longer trying to control or fix. These are all like the soul waving to you, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. And the programmed way that we have been in this life, the way we have been programmed to be in this life, um, is very different than how soul is naturally designed to be. Right. When you tap into that moment that you may have had in the past, it feels you weren't, there was no separation. But here's what's very important. This idea of like, "Oh, we're all one and let's all f you I just everybody needs to feel like we're one," that you can't force yourself into that. You can't you can't bring that up. You can't be like, we're all one and we're not separated. It's like that is a logic. That's logic. That's mind. That's trying to understand it. When you start to just feel into that state that you had in a previous moment, that is that's the unification. That's the knowingness that we're not separate. That's the feeling state of this love that we can't describe, that we can't get to, that we can't try to do. You know, the mind has been the overarching drive of the human experience, and a feeling state is trying to come online to move you, to guide you, to bring you into this integration embodiment of soul. It's mind-blowing to me that we are where we are right now in this human collective. I mean, it really does blow my mind every day that we truly are actually freaking integrating and embodying soul in a very physical, tangible, real way, not in some higher realm. Let's sit and move into some meditative state so that we can be in this bliss. Soul doesn't give a shit about bliss. Soul doesn't need to meditate. Meditation is a beautiful tool that allows us to quiet so that we can feel and hear our divine essence breathing through us in every moment. But that is not our natural state, right? The natural state is to be able to walk through life, to walk into grocery stores, to have interactions, to see things, to watch things, to hear things, all things. And in those moments, there is an absolute knowingness that soul is vibrating through all of this, that there is this essence that's here no matter what. I don't need to be a certain way in order for this to be. I don't need to have a certain thing in order for this to be. I don't need to fix anything in order for this to be. I don't need to heal any trauma in order for this to be what it is. I don't need to manifest anything in order for soul to say, yo, what's up? I'm here. What a gift life is. Holy shit. It's a being state. It's the natural state. It's a feeling state. So here's the difference between a feeling state and emotions, okay, which are feelings. Okay. This is really important, very difficult to describe, but I'm going to try to do it. A feeling state is like a grounded uh, knowingness. That's what I would describe as a feeling state. And soul is a feeling state. It's a statue. It's a state. It's a beingness that just is. Right? It feels as if it comes and goes because this human aspect of us is still in the mind trying to figure out, make sense of, throw this away, create this. This is okay. This isn't okay. I like this. I don't like this. I want this. I don't. It's still very much in a polarized back and forth trying to control state. But soul just is. It's a state. It's just this essence. Okay. That's a feeling state. So when you think back to that moment where you felt super aligned, where you just feel like all is okay, all is well, something is supposedly moving through you or speaking through you. I don't even have words to describe it, but you most likely have felt it. That's the feeling state of soul. That's your natural state, and it's going to come online more and more. Right? Feelings or emotions is this. It's movement. It's water. It just comes and goes, always in and out. It's designed to be light, right? Even the intensity of grief is water. It's just moving. It's the wave. Every emotion, every energy that you equate to an emotion is truly simply just this light, watery substance that moves. Feeling state is a more grounded experience of beingness that we are trying to kind of bring awareness to because it's the natural state that we're not used to. Okay. So just pay attention to the very subtle difference between constant feelings that are moving through you, that are designed to, that are like waves, and this more natural state of being that is soul. It's quieter, it's subtle, it's grounded, it just is. Okay, and so what may be happening to a lot of you right now is you're feeling the counter in the opposite of this. So you're feeling unsettled, you're feeling confused, you're feeling distracted, maybe you're feeling insecure, you're feeling like you're out of control, you're feeling maybe there are thought forms that are really taking you, like lack or insecurity or unworthiness, and you're super out of control with those, right? Um, Maybe you're just in a massive state of control and it's just like, no, I am, this is what's happening and I'm going to do this. And you're aware of that restrictive state. You could be feeling more and more of these really intense physical symptoms coming on over and over again, like what happened with me the last 6 weeks, right? These intense, different physical ailments that were allowing me or enabling me to be in more of an uncontrolled state, trusting something so much bigger than me, spirit or soul. Thank you, Rachel, so much for that super chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. Um, Soul speaks through uncontrollableness. Soul needs you to be in a state of not controlling. And so, what many of you may be feeling right now is more and more out of control. When you feel that, can you remember that this is soul trying to get you to trust it? It's soul speaking to you. Yo, can you trust me? I need you to trust this, not knowing what's next. It's the exact perfect thing that needs to be arising. We resist that feeling so much. We don't like it, but it's our natural state. We've got to be able to trust it more and more. The other thing that's arising for a lot of humanity right now is simultaneously um, clarity. Clarity is a big piece that's happening for a lot of us. We're starting to become more clear. We're getting clarity. And the clarity is an understanding of what's happening. You're starting to understand more and more what's happening on the planet, what's happening within you. Clarity feels so good. Clarity doesn't mean that it's unraveling the way you want it to unravel. Clarity doesn't mean that it looks the way you want it to look. Pay attention to the difference between the you that's trying to create and make it be a certain way and the you that is soul, that is allowing everything to unravel in the way that it's unraveling. Soul is bringing you into um, this flow, this rolling through the waves, so that you can remember this divinity and this divine way of being that is both chaotic and calm. So it's a calmness in the chaos. There's a lot that is going to clarity is your intuition, which is soul. Soul speaks through intuition. And one of the most beautiful things about what's happening on the planet right now is that you are being more and more distracted by confusion. Patricia, thank you for that super chat. Yay, realizing soul. Oh, it's so exciting. Ah, we're actually doing it. You think about like what Jesus did, and forget about the character in the Bible and the way in which he has been personified on this planet for thousands of years as this savior of all your sins and blah blah blah. He's the only way to God, and forget about all of that, right? If you peel away all those stories and just look at this man as the incarnation or embodiment of soul as human, he mastered that. um and if you think about why he came on the planet, right? I use Jesus because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful example of what we are currently in right now. His whole message was, he didn't teach anything. He he was the embodiment of who we are. That's it. So he was trying to remind us of who we are, which is God in form, or what I like to say, soul in form, soul in body, soul as human, soul and human, both. To negate the human is negating the soul. So being human is being soul. Being soul is being human. This idea that we're going to find ourselves in some like, and God forbid you should feel anger. God forbid you should feel jealousy. God forbid you should feel rage or any emotion that you're feeling. That no, when you're in an enlightened state and when you are evolved and when you are in the 5D or in the new earth, you're soul. You're just soul. That is an absolute negation or uh, bypassing of human, which is what you're experiencing. And so, what the beautiful, both exist simultaneously without a preference for either one, because both are. Soul knows it's not human, right? So the essence of soul allows for human because it knows it's not human. So what the fuck does it care? It just is. So Jesus was able to exemplify this embodiment of soul in such a way that it's almost like is that a state where are we actually going to get to that state of being? Yes, we are. 100% we will, and we're in it right now. We're stepping into it right now. We're embodying it right now. And everything you're going through is the beginning of you torturously, courageously, uncomfortably dropping into the embodiment of soul. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's not some beautiful, high vibe, positive thinking thing. It's the nitty gritty, dirty, raw, vulnerable, authentic messiness of dropping into the most beautiful expression of you, which is soul, in the midst of the messy expression of human. And it's the peeling back of the deep, deep programmed, conditioned, robotic belief that you are everything you think. And that there is a way in which you have to control. Control is programming. Anything you are controlling is programming. It's just the program. It's part of the computer. It's part of the mind. And so you are courageously dropping into, unbeknownst to you, perhaps, this really uncomfortable state of letting go of control, of no longer believing mind, of trying to remember that you're not thought and that thought actually doesn't create reality, that soul or a feeling is what creates reality. And this is not easy. Jesus spent most of his human life practicing, literally in teachings, learning how to be the embodiment of soul in the human physical reality. And so, welcome to your evolution. This is what we're here to do. This is why we are on the planet. This is it. What you are in right now is it. Stop getting distracted by all the other nonsense of what it needs to look like or what it should look like or what you should be focused on or what it needs to feel like or you're not doing it right or whatever. It's human. It's the integration of soul as human. You understand how difficult that is? Like the humbleness of this is mind-blowing. And that we will continue to be shown through the external world um, the subtle manipulation of the mind, the subtle manipulation of the mind. Everything that's happening on the world stage right now is getting you to either stay in the mind and be controlled, or it's allowing you to drop deeper into soul and to feel through it, to see through it. So everything that's unraveling on this planet right now that looks like a circus show is gifting you the opportunity to either continue to be manipulated and programmed into narratives and stories that will keep you in mind, or drop you into the soul expression of what is unraveling, which is the intuitive resonance of what you're feeling around it all. So again, if you remember that soul doesn't have preference, soul just sees what is. Soul's just experiencing what is. And the more that soul starts to see or experience what is, the human aspect of you that has been programmed goes crazy. It screams, it tries to understand, it tries to make sense of it, tries to find a side. Like, you know, um, it will the human part of you that is dropping deeper into the soul will get really frustrated. Thank you, Sharon, for that super chat. It really will, because it's going to see more and more the manipulation, the control. You're going to start realizing how controlled you are still, how mind controlled humanity is, how we just find ourselves in another narrative and another narrative and another narrative. We just keep believing different narratives that have the same tone to it, numbing out and creating divide of some sort. And the more that you can drop into that state that you were in another time, where soul is saying, I am watching all of this, I am seeing all of this, then you will start to see what it is that humanity is being gifted. What is the gift in all of these narratives? What is the gift in the confusion? What is the gift in the distraction? What is the gift in the uh, polarized division of sides? What's the gift in it? Because the soul always recognizes the opportunity, right? And so pay attention right now to mind and body, which is um, mind or soul. Pay attention to the drastic difference between those two and how they're trying to integrate or embody together. They're trying to merge. Mind and soul are trying to merge together so that soul can start to come online more and more, um, and not be um, run by the mind, run by emotion, run by thought, run by narratives or stories. That's why it's, a really, really important to pay attention to, and I will speak to this forever. But it's extremely important to pay attention to what you are listening to, what you are watching, what you open yourself up to energetically. because as soul starts to come online, when you start integrating, embodying your soul more and more, which is what's happening. I don't care how much trauma you have in your body. I don't care what narcissist is in your life. I don't care about any of that. You are integrating and embodying soul, period. And the more that happens, the more you become energetic, i.e., in a feeling state. And the more you become the more you are in a feeling state or energetic, the more open and vulnerable you become to what you are taking in, what you're consuming, what you're listening to, what you're allowing into your field. You will become more persuadable, more. You actually have the opportunity, unfortunately, to become more distracted, influenced. And so you have to become even more discerning. You have to start questioning more and more what is yours and what is someone else's. You have to start to peel away what is programming, what is mind control, and what is actually the felt sense of spirit or soul, essence, resonance, intuition. And so you will start to feel more and more. You will start to become more vulnerable to outside influences. And I think it's an extremely important thing to talk about because we have to be, equipped to be able to become more energetic in a very, very, very chaotic, um, uh, volatile, energetic world. It is very volatile out there. And the more that you can be acutely aware of what you are paying attention to, what you're listening to, what you're buying into, the easier it will be to go through this. Because, um, believe it or not, in my opinion, we are just beginning. We're just at the beginning. We're just like at the tip of the iceberg of the um, peeling back the layers um, of what we're actually in. And awareness is a layering. It's peeling back and peeling back. So right when you think that you're aware and awake and you understand everything, you will be pummeled deeper into the recognition that you are still programmed into deep beliefs, so that you can question those, so that you can become aware of those. So there's another peeling back into soul. So every moment that we are gifted an opportunity to see deep programming and deep mind control, we are being gifted into that deeper integration or embodiment of soul. So do not just believe a narrative. Do not just believe what people are saying. Let things feel like that's impossible. Is that really true? And let that just breathe through you. It's going to get it is going to get a lot crazier out there, especially now that we have, um, you know, as humanity begins to awaken out of the illusion and become more empowered as soul, more and more, we will see uh, a chaos and a WTF on a world stage that you almost are just like, that can't possibly be true. That can't that can't possibly be that that didn't just happen, right? Wait. Your mind will be blown by the absurdity of what is going to unravel, because humanity needs to continue to wake up out of what it's in. And it's going to take a lot because the mind control is so deep. Okay, so just be aware of what's happening. Be aware of what's actually unraveling, what's actually occurring, and really pay attention to what you're playing in and what you're buying in and what you're feeding emotionally, you know? Um, Recognize that any side is still the illusion. It is. Any anger that elicits an and a separation is the control, is the mind control. And know that you're dropping deeper into soul, the alignment and embodiment of it. Um, so this is the natural process of evolution. This is just what's happening with humanity. Um, Large percentage of people won't understand it and won't be able to do it right away, and that's okay. It won't be the most popular concept. It won't be the most sensationalized, but it is where humanity is in the beginning of this next phase of evolution. It's what's happening. It's the embodiment of soul. Thank you, Moonflower, for that super chat. I appreciate it. So, Matt, just know that you guys are on the front lines, and that you are stepping into a very new way of being, even if you think it's been going on for a long time. There is something very new about what we are embodying right now, and that it's actually really, truly happening. It's really, truly happening. Crazy. Anyway, thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Um, and if this video resonates, hit the thumbs up button, pass it on to other people. Untangled, another episode down, episode 95. Next Tuesday, we will be doing another episode of Untangled 96. And that's it for now. I don't have much else to report to you guys. Be soul and body. Just remember, I am soul, I am soul, I am soul, I am soul. And how does your life change as you begin to integrate that more and more? Love you guys. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you next Tuesday. Mwah.